Hi, Kayla here, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to do my January 2022 wrap-up. And I'm going to start with the books I read first, so the books I read last, and then I'm going to give my ratings as I say them. And at the end I'm going to do like my stats, because I just made a really cool little bar charts over here that kind of summarizes everything, and I'm a little excited about it. So the first book I read this year, which I kind of started, I guess, in 2021, like, I didn't do anything for New Year's because my family was having they had COVID for Christmas, so we pushed Christmas to New Year's, and we didn't really do anything for New Year's besides like celebrate Christmas again, so I did not have crazy New Year's plans. So I read, and I started A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair, and I loved it. I started this because I read her book Kingdom of Battle and Blood in December, and I adored it. And I wanted to get Greek mythology too, so I read this one and I really loved it. I actually gave it a 5 out of 5. Like, it has the smut in it that I like, and I just like the world, how it's like modern. She stayed so true to the myths and legends and brought it in this like really cool modern take on it. So I really like this book. This is like a 5-star for me. I read the whole series. So the next book I went into was The Touch of Ruin by Scarlett St. Clair. And I gave this one a 4 out of 5. It did not live up to the first book, but it was not bad. The next book I read, I did like half audio, half reading. I've had this book for a while. I just listen to audiobooks when I get ready in the morning, so I needed a new one. And I wanted to dive back in the series because I read the series super out of order. I first read Party of Two by Jasmine, and then I read The Wedding Date, and then I read Royal Wedding. So I wanted to fill in the gaps because I already had them. So the next book I read was The Proposal, which I really liked. Gave it out a 4 out of 5. It definitely redeemed the series for me. I was not loving this series. I just did not like Party of Two, and I did not like Royal Holiday. I did enjoy like Wedding Date, but like it wasn't like my favorite book. And this one was really cute, and I feel like the steam was like turned up for this one, so I gave it a 4 out of 5. I also read The Wedding Party by her, and this one was my favorite one of the series, and I gave it a 5 out of 5. Like, I really loved the banter between Theo and Maddie, and yeah, like this book completely redeemed it. Like, this one was like becoming redeeming, but this one like fully redeemed it for me. And the next book I read, which also, I did this one like a combo of like audio and reading. Like, I listened to it in the morning and at night. Like, I just wanted to know what happened, so I would start reading it again. The next book I read was Touch of Malice, and I did not realize that the series was not completed. I thought it was only the 3 books, so I was like, oh, it's fine, like I get to have an ending, and then the last 20 pages, like, everything in the world was going wrong, and I knew it wasn't going to end, and I got really upset because I didn't know, and it just didn't have a date for the release of the 4th book. So I feel like that one gave a bad, like, tone to it at the end. Like, I was really enjoying it up until the end, and I was like, oh crap, like, there's a whole other book to it, and I haven't even, I don't know what's gonna come out, so. But the smut was still A1, so I gave it a 4 out of 5. The next book I read was, I totally missed 2 of the audiobooks that I read in between. I read 99% Mine by Sally Thorne. So I read The Hating Game for the podcast back in 2021 for season 2. And I didn't love it, and I thought there was something wrong with me because there's so much hype around it. I mean, it's cute, but it's just like not the best rom-com I've read. Like, I've read many that are much better. I just felt like there was a lot of plot holes that like didn't make sense in The Hating Game, so I gave it another shot. I read 99% Mine. I did it on audiobook. I rented it from Libby. I don't even have a copy of it, so I'll put the cover right here. And I did not like this book at all. Like, I gave it a 3 out of 5. Like, I'm not a fan. I mean, it wasn't like awful where I like did not finish, and it was a fine romance, but like I would never recommend it to anybody, and like the main character just made me cringe like immensely, so not a fan. So, but then I also read Second First Impression this month. Well, I listened to Second First Impression this month by audiobook, and I did that from Libby too, so I don't have a cover, so I'll put the cover here too, also by Sally Thorne, and I gave this one a 4 out of 5. I thought this one was really cute. I think it's my favorite of her books. I like the bad guy, good girl, like, combo, so I was a fan of that. But again, like, I don't think she's my favorite author. I don't think I will be jumping at the bit to read more of her books, but I wanted to know what all the hype was about. So I read all 3 of her books. My ranking there would be like second first impression, The Hating Game, and then 99% Mine. 99% Mine was just so cringy, and you just like got so frustrated with the main character because she was like so dense, and you're just like, why? Like, she doesn't listen to anybody, and it was just so frustrating. I took a break from the audiobook and like listened to other audiobooks and came back to it because I just needed a break from it. So that was a 3 out of 5, and second first impression was a 4 out of 5. The next one I read was, I finished a series of Jasmine Guillory. Again, I did like audio reading. I really like this one too. I think this is my second favorite of the season. I love Ben. Like, this is Theo's brother's story, and I really liked it. I really liked the Hollywood aspect of it, and I gave it a 4 out of 5. The next book I read was The Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I put this on my 22 books on read in 2022, so I was going to start with this one, but then I got caught up in the Touch of Darkness series, and then I jumped back to this. I really like this book, despite it being YA, and there's like not really any like smut or kissing it. There is like some romance in it, there's like some love triangles, but I did really enjoy this book. I actually gave it a 5 out of 5 because it kept me on the edge of my seat for being YA, and again, like I'm not a big YA person, so really big fan of this one. Okay, the next book up on my list, I read this for my like in-person book club with my friends. It's Song of Achilles. I can appreciate that this is a really nice piece of literature. Like, I can see it being a book in English class one day. It wasn't my favorite book, and I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 because, again, it's a nice book. It's a really nice piece of literature. It's just not my cup of tea. I did like the Greek mythology part of it. It was just like almost like too literary. But it was a good book. It was a really good book for book club because it really enhanced like conversation. There's a lot of things to talk about, and I liked how in the end there was like a discussion guide too, so like that was helpful because sometimes you read a book and like there's no discussion guide, and like we forgot to talk about the book at book club. But no, it was a really nice piece of literature. I also thought it would be like steamier, but it wasn't, so that was also like a letdown there. But it was I'm not a fan, and I feel like I don't want to piss people off by saying I didn't like it. I didn't not like it. I just like, it's something I would read again. It's something I probably would recommend to people. It was just like a nice piece of literature, and you can just appreciate it for that. So that's Song of Achilles. The next 2 books that I listened to, I got them on Libby. I'm going to put both titles here. They're the first 2 books of the Selection series. It's called The Selection and the Elite by Kiera. I gave The Selection a 4 out of 5, and I gave The Elite a 3 out of 5. I really liked the first book of this one. It felt like I was listening to like the Bachelor podcast or something. Like, it was just, I love The Bachelor, so it was like a really drama based, and it was very YA, but it was just something fun to listen to. And then in The Elite, she just like, the main character just got really annoying, and she couldn't make up her mind, and she was going back and forth, and I just wanted to like throw my invisible book because I was listening to it, but like she frustrated me so much. But I will complete the series mainly because I borrowed my friend's Sweet 16 dresses and I had another friend who had the books, and I had my friends who had Sweet 16 dresses and I combined friends, and I took photos that matched the dresses, like in my friend's Sweet 16 dresses, to the books. So I really want to post those photos on Instagram. So I'm gonna have to listen to the 3rd book. Although I do want to know how it ends. Like, it's like, I read 2 books. I've committed. I've done this much so far. I need to know how it ends. So I will read the 3rd book eventually. But yeah, the first book was really good. I really liked it. It was like pretty, it was fast paced. There's action in it, there's love in it. I was a big fan. In high school, I would have devoured these books, like, oh my god. So I just feel like me as like a 25-year-old self doesn't love them, but I like them a lot. The last book I read that I didn't think I was going to get to this month, but I surprised myself, and well, I was like, I'll just start it this month and I'll finish it next month. No, I devoured it because it was so good, and you've seen this all over Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. Like, it's I'm falling in the bandwagon, but it is that good, and it's Love Hypothesis. I actually like lent it out because my friend wanted to try it, and I only had the cover. I don't let my covers out because I don't want them to damage my like the cover. I don't care what they do to like the actual hardback of it. Oh my god, 5 out of 5. Like, these two characters, like, I think I would die for. Adam, like, oof, love him. He was like broody, but he just was pining for so long. Like, this is everything I want in a this is everything I want in a romance book. Like, and I usually hate the trope of like miscommunication because it just drives me nuts, but like, I had to keep reading. I had to know what happened, so 5 out of 5 for me. I wish it was 10 out of 10. 5 out of 5 for me. So these are the books. I read 13 books this month. Okay, so my stats for the month are I categorize like A Touch of Darkness stuff as fantasy romance. I can categorize this as young adult fantasy, and then I did like A Song of Achilles, just plain old fantasy, and then just regular romance. So that's how I categorize them. So for romance fantasy I read 3, for romance alone I read 6, for young adult fantasy I read 3, and then for regular fantasy I read 1. I did buy 5 books this month. I read 4 books that I've already owned, so proud of myself there. And I rented 4 books from the library, so proud of myself that I rented and owned more than I bought, but I need to make the buying number smaller. On types of books I read 2 hardcovers, 4 audiobooks, and 7 paperbacks, but 3 of those paperbacks are also half audio, so I took turns in those books. For book ratings, I gave 8 books 4, I gave 3 books 5, and I gave 2 books 3s. Which I feel like I gave 4 books 5. Maybe not, maybe just 3. And publisher count, I just read the most from Berkeley, and that's 4. The other ones I read from Bloom Book, and then Harper Teen, and then William Marrow, and then Song of Achilles is from Eco, which I've never heard of before. But I'm going to try and track publishers, and I'm going to try and read 1 indie author a month. So that's my goal for the months going forward. But thank you for listening. This is my January wrap-up. I'm going to film another video for the books I hope to read in February and then compare them. I didn't have a chance to do that this month, and I'm kind of glad because I kind of went all over the place to get into the year. But I started off the year strong with 13. My goal is to read 100 this year. I also just read a lot this month because next month, February, is like really crazy for work. Like right now, I'm already staying up till midnight working, so it's just really hard to read a lot. I definitely do more audiobooks, so I wanted to get a lot of books in to start out the year strong, so if I fall behind in February, I'll be fine. Make sure to hit subscribe below, and if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can follow me at Book Talks Podcast, and if you want to follow my podcast, you can find me on Spotify and Apple Podcasts at Book Talks Podcast. Have a good day.
Just watch me breaking your